Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the Globally Connected podcast. We hope you're all doing well, you're all feeling great. It's currently nighttime for me, it's morning time for Jerome, and we're here getting into an exciting topic today. So, today we're going to be talking about 5 things that we have learned, five, maybe 6 things that we have learned throughout our journey in business. So here we're putting business in an overall nutshell, like the business that we've done throughout our life, the lessons that we have captured from them, and that we take as entrepreneurs, employees, business owners, etc. So we'll go ahead and get started. And as always, guys, thank you for tuning in. Subscribe to our channel, like, comment, let us know your feedback and your thoughts. And we're happy to make episodes tailored to your interests as well. So definitely let us know what you'd like to hear more of. So, Jerome, I'll let you kick us off with something that you have learned in your journey doing business.
Yeah. First, I would just say the number one thing that I've learned is everyone is really for themselves. Um, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but that's probably has been the number one takeaway for me as I started this off is everyone is really for themselves. So you have to be sure that you don't get basically treated all kind of ways and just have everything run over your head. So that's number one for me. How about you?
Mhm.
Number one, if you have
Yeah,
any perspective to share.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's like a very important life lesson that, I'm also learning too as I'm growing. And, I've always like heard from people to like not think that other people have the same intentions that you do or something like that. And even like people are going to look to serve their interests first. And that can be with clients, that can be with partners, that could be with partnerships, etc. So it's going to be very important to balance the interests along both sides. So there's more of a mutualism as well. Like, how can both parties serve their interests while also serving each other? So keeping that double minded perspective. I think that's something that Jerome and I have also been learning as we're doing business, as we're meeting with stakeholders, like talking to people just like around, um, you know, as we're talking to people like on a global markets, on clients, on partners, etc. It's like you got to understand also from their perspective what their benefit is. So okay, I'll go ahead into mine. So, one of the really important things that I've learned about business, and this is across all sectors, like this, I can say speaks for my experience in international sales, business development, product management, and also having a consulting firm, is that cold cold outreach and relationship building is very, very crucial to the business.
Mhm.
Like, even when you're starting out a business, as you know, you have to wear multiple hats. You're the marketing person, you're the salesperson, you're the BD person, you're the engineer, you're the designer. So you have many, many hats that you're wearing, and you can outsource some things, but it's really important to not neglect this very, very key thing, which is cold outreach and relationship building. Because at the end of the day, business is an exchange of value, which is going to have to happen between parties. So for
Yeah.
people to know about the value that you're offering and for you to understand what their needs are, you're going to have to do outreach, you're going to have to build relationships. So whether that's like direct pitches on LinkedIn, like sending short messages to people, looking at your existing network, whether that's attending events on Eventbrite or webinars as well, going in person to places as well. So I think like all these things, putting yourself out there both digitally and physically is really going to help the growth of the business. And it's not something to take lightly. It's like very crucial of the business, even though it's maybe like more of a task that is more repetitive, but
Yeah.
you got to tailor your approach with each person as well. Which is something I've learned from my mentors, is like having a tailored approach for each individual you speak to is actually going to give you a better response rate than like one generic message across everybody.
Yeah.
Um, and practicing that. So, Jerome, you got anything to add with that topic? I know, both you and I do a lot of outreach ourselves, both for ourselves, for our clients, and in our other endeavors.
No, I definitely agree with that statement for sure. Because when you're starting off a business, nobody knows who you are. So again, if you do not come from a background where you have the support, the network, etc., and you building everything up from the ground up, which is called bootstrapping, then you have
Mhm.
no choice but to outreach, do outreach via cold calling,
Mhm.
going to different prominent locations and wherever you're at, and just passing out business cards, telling people who you are, what you do, etc. And just like I said, just putting yourself out there. It's kind of like being a musical artist. When you start off, you constantly recording music, releasing mixtapes and
Mhm.
EPs just to get a buzz, to get the attention of record labels, etc., so that you can sign a record deal, etc. It's the same exact thing when you're running a business. My only thing with that is what I've learned about cold calling, etc. It just learning how to be effective with that so that you get the outcome that you're looking for. Because you don't want to be calling the first 50 people that you see. You have to, as you mentioned, tailor that approach to, for example, if you had a fast food restaurant that you're starting, you have to tailor that approach to those particular demographics of people. That's my
Mhm.
only feedback on that. But that's
Yeah,
definitely a good perspective that you share of something that you learned since you've been doing business.
yeah, very insightful. So, what about you? What's another thing that you've learned that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, alignment is key. And for
Mm,
elaboration, obviously, everything is not going to be perfect, the perfect match, but alignment as far as like your beliefs, your values, what you stand for, how you maneuver when it comes to business. That is probably the most important thing to be cognizant of when doing business, because if you don't have no alignment, then it's going to be hard to develop chemistry and work towards whatever goal that you're trying to achieve with both parties involved. So, I guess symmetry is very important, if I could say it in better terms. But alignment is definitely key. It's like peanut butter and jelly. Without the peanut butter and the jelly, you're not going to be able to have a great sandwich. So it's the same thing
mhm.
in business. I come
Yeah.
to you with my outlook, but who I am as a human being and person first. I think a lot of people forget that when it comes to doing business, they negate the personal aspects of who they are for the core and then apply that to business in order to get effective business done. So that's
Mhm.
another thing that I have learned.
Yeah, facts. And like you said with the peanut butter and jelly, like, you know, also people are gonna bring different mindsets, different ways of thinking, which is good. So like
Yeah.
that will also help like to actually align from seeing from different perspectives and to learn from each other and to grow. So I really like that. I would say so for me, this one now, not everybody might agree with this, and that's
Mm.
completely okay. For me personally, like I believe this is important for me. I think multiple income streams provide stability.
Mm.
So I think for me, I believe like the key to wealth and the key to building success is going to be to have multiple income streams. Because, for example, if I am skilled at one thing and working in one thing, and then something happens that puts me out of business of that, or I face some sort of crisis in that, and then I can't do that particular job or task anymore, then I will have to maybe start from scratch again. Personally, I like to have different income streams, whether that's working on different projects. Of course, it requires like time management and prioritization. So you've got to also see like um, which services or products do you want to prioritize that you are providing, but also to not have all your eggs in one basket type of thing. Because, say, for example, if a layoff happens and you don't have like an ability to get a job right away, or maybe the job that you're doing, the function is being replaced by new technologies, or outsourcing for a lower cost.
Yeah.
How can you scale yourself, and how can you also have a comfortability to sit back on? So for example, like I think like to have more security and freedom, I enjoy to do like investing as well as working, of course, on our business, as well as dabbling into different projects that I can do, whether it's like through freelance or whether it's through like a smaller contract, or even having diversified client base along different services that we're providing to our clients. So diversification, I think, is good. We've seen this in a lot of successful business owners that pivot their business model. Like, for example, let's start with I'll just give an example of Rihanna, because she's the first person who's popped
Yes.
up in my mind right now. And I already know I'm probably missing like half the things she's doing, because she's doing so many things. But she's diversified her streams of income by a lot. I remember she's dropped a perfume before. She
Mm.
started her makeup brand as well. Um, of course, singing as well. So she has many different streams of income that she's leveraging. She's also dabbled into the fashion industry too. So many different things and skill sets that she's acquired, and using like her face and her brand to go across many different income streams. And I believe she's a billionaire. So I
Yeah.
think, she's doing great with that, and many other people that we see that have, they don't just stick to one thing. They have different things that they're doing. Maybe they specialize more in one thing, but they've tried to diversify their income stream.
Yeah. I'll be the first one to say I agree with that wholeheartedly. Actually, that's like one of the first things that I learned being an entrepreneur is that diversification and having more than one stream of income is important. Actually,
Mhm.
is a saying. I'm not sure where I got this from, but the person was saying you should have seven streams of income by the time you're 40. So
Yeah,
that's definitely important, and I highly agree with that. So that's a
yeah.
great one.
Even like investing in your 401k plan is a source of income.
Yes.
That's a revenue stream there that you're securing yourself for your future too, by having a 401k plan, having investments, etc. So it can even be things like that, maybe investing in real estate. It can be ones that are making you money without you necessarily having to invest a lot of time, but more so you're investing your capital. That also counts as an income stream.
Yeah. What
Mhm.
is what is one stream of income, whether that's industry, asset class, etc., that you want to get involved in, business related, that you have yet to do? What is one, if you have any?
Okay, so I think an income stream that I would like to have is like, I'd like to create an actual physical product that
Mm,
I have on the market. So that's really a goal of mine, is to create my own product, not necessarily service, but also my own physical product that I would like to get into. And then another thing, and I know this is for my long-term vision,
yeah.
is probably getting more into the educational sector, like later on. I think it'd be cool to be like a lecturer on the side, like coming in to teach sometimes, or to mentor students or to do workshops like that. I really enjoy that. One, it's a good way to build an extra source of income, but not even that. It's more so like I would really enjoy giving back in that way and connecting at large with the community and building those relationships and like having an impact on others. Because I know for me, like as a student, I like to hear from mentors or people that were in the field or would come in and teach the class. I thought that was always really cool. So I'd be interested in that. How about yourself?
Professor Gigi is on the way, guys.
Yeah,
So
maybe I have to get a PhD though, which I don't know.
So you heard it here first. We might be having a globally connected course coming to educational system. Stay tuned. But related to my answer to your question, I have two. One, I actually want to start my own cosmetics line, and this is something I thought about last year. and I wrote it down. But it's all about timing. That is one. And then the second one is I've already started doing research on this. I just haven't actually made the investment yet. But I just want to expand my investments into wine. You
Mm.
know, I used to be a wine connoisseur. Not much anymore because I've been sober for quite some time. But wine, I have a quite an affinity for wine, and that really heightened when I went to South Africa. So yeah, that those would be my two.
What is the next business? What is the next thing that you've learned while doing business? What's an important thing that you've learned while doing business?
Don't involve your emotions in business, man. Whenever you involve your emotions in business, you already lost. Like, and there is no coming back from that. And you know what's crazy? And I've learned this. People can smell when you have your emotions involved in business. I don't know if you pick that up with us. People could smell that.
And they can take advantage of it. So, don't wear your heart on your sleeve.
Yeah. So that's actually one, and this is for myself. I've gotten a lot better with it, but yeah, don't involve your emotions in business. Please don't.
Yeah.
That's
I
mine.
think that's something Jerome and I both like learn as people. We are both empaths to the core. Like, so I think we're also very logical too, but we can lead with our emotions sometimes, or we not lead with our emotions, but we definitely listen to our emotions and are aware of them. So, but it's a way to be aware of them without us acting on them. So I think it's great. It's great to deal with different personas in business, especially doing business internationally. You deal with people of all different backgrounds, all different ways of communicating, more direct communicators, more indirect communicators, So being able to kind of also speak from a perspective that is very grounded is really, really important.
I have a question, and this is for fellow entrepreneurs, business owners, etc. Why do you think people involve their emotions in business?
I'll let you answer that first. Why do you think so?
All right. Me personally, the reason why I have involved my emotions in business is because I actually care. I'm very empathetic, and I'm a genuine person. And I think a lot of times being genuine, that can have a trickle effect of your emotions getting involved because you are giving good, so you expect good to be reciprocated
Mhm.
100%. And when that is not the case, you feel like you are crossed. When a lot of times that's not the case in business. But even if that is the case, you got to remember at the end of the day, it's always business. It's never personal. And
Mhm.
I think that's something that a lot of us aren't taught. If you are very genuine or just have a great heart and you expect that to be reciprocated, there aren't that many people in society who have the same core characteristics within as you may have. So
Mhm.
that, from my perspective, is why I have involved my emotions in doing business.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. I think the reason that people involve emotions in business is because at the end of the day, we're going to have emotions involved in everything that we do. The thing, though, is in business and in life, kindness can be taken for weakness,
Yeah.
or emotion can be taken for weakness. And, you know, um, feeling a type of way about something and expressing feeling about something can sometimes be viewed as weakness, especially based on the structure of the society that you are dealing with and how they perceive communication, and also how they perceive conflict,
Mm,
and how the hierarchy is structured. So there are some business environments where emotions are not involved at all because of how the culture operates. They don't involve emotion in these settings, whereas others, emotion is very important in building that trust. Yeah,
that's a
building an amicable environment with people is going to be more important in certain environments. So you've always got to read the room. And I think another thing though is like, don't kill your emotions, because emotions are literally just energy and motion, and they have a meaning. So when you are feeling an emotion about something, I think it's also quite interesting, because that means you are able to pick up on something, or you're perceiving, like, sometimes you can feel when the vibe is right with someone that you're going to work with versus when you don't think it's going to work, and vice versa. Sometimes it can seem like the vibe is off, but it's really just a different way of working. So be aware of the emotions, but don't always take the first emotion that you feel as the source of truth. I think is like a large thing within business.
That's powerful, very insightful. So, what is your next lesson that you have learned?
Yes. So, actually, this does tie along with what we're talking about with emotion in business
Mm,
and everything like that. So, it is that maintaining a strong mindset and physical balance is just as important as strategy and execution. So this goes back to, you can't pour from an empty cup. Like, if you are like running multiple projects to a point where you're dealing with a lot of stress, you're not able to manage your relationships, you're feeling burnout, you're not sleeping enough, it's going to reflect in the execution. Actually, the execution and the strategy is just as important as coming in with a strong mindset and a physical balance, because if you have that strong mindset, you're going to be able to stay more objective in situations where the conversations may be getting um, a bit more like, you may if you have like a stronger mindset, you're able to manage conflict more. If you have a strong mindset, you're able to pick up more on what actually is going on. Like, think about it, if your mind is so preoccupied with other things, you're not going to be able to be fully aware of the environment and pick up on some things or know what questions to ask. Like, if you're super nervous or not feeling good about yourself in your business meeting, you might miss some important details or questions to ask and understand more of, because you internally are not feeling good with yourself. So it's very important to prioritize your personal energy, knowing that it impacts not only you, but your business success. It's going to impact the business environment. So, keeping ourselves good, healthy, balanced. And of course, we can't always be 100% every day. That's a fact. But taking on the ability to be aware when something is off and being able to set a boundary, like, hey, I need some time to sort out this thing that's a priority right now. Hey, I'm dealing with this circumstance right now, I need to take care of, so that I can fully be present. And then also just being in balance with yourself, which I'm constantly learning more and more of every day. Like, building a healthy routine of sleep, of exercise, of diet, of hydration, mindset, the information that we are consuming, the time spent on social media, the time spent, the environments that we're in, the people that we communicate with, the influences that they have on us. It's like everything is energy and motion. So, how can we make sure that we are staying balanced?
The last one that I had was doing business is similar to playing the game of chess,
That's a great one.
where the analogy here is for all my chess players out there. Even if you aren't a chess player, the objective of chess is checkmate and to kill the king. So you always got to make your next move your best move. So in business, it's the same.
Is it kill the king or capture the king?
I'm
Are you
sorry,
really trying to get?
capture the king.
I'm like, dang, it's brutal like that in chess. Like,
You can still, I mean, it's the same exact thing, just different terminology. So I'm
yeah,
gonna say kill the king. So you always got to make your next move your best move. So I say I like to say in business, it's the same exact concept. You need to think 10 steps ahead. You have to be strategic. You have to make your next move your best move because and also never move too fast and never make decisions, impulsive decisions. That's another lesson. Never make impulsive decisions. So yeah,
Mhm.
business
That's
is similar to a game of chess. You just sit there, be strategic, don't think too long, don't think too fast as well. Just have a balance and just
mhm.
always make your next move your best move. That's my
Yeah.
biggest lesson that I've learned from doing business and being around business for actually a couple of years now, like more than 3 years. I've been involved in business now. I really could say all my life, but as far as like legit business, I would say 7 years I've been involved in it. I've
Mhm.
learned quite some things, but that's my
Yeah.
biggest takeaway.
Yeah, that's a great one for sure. I don't play chess necessarily, but I did watch The Queen's Gambit. And I think it's also interesting like when you enter in chess um you lock in. Like you're locked
Yeah.
into the game. Like the focus is on the game and on your strategy, and you're kind of keeping quiet and reflecting on your move, and then you are acting. So acting with precision. So yeah, very interesting. And I'd love to learn more about chess actually.
Shout out to chess. I'm gonna definitely send you the app so we could play together. But yeah, is
Yeah.
it's chess.com.
Yeah, guys. So that is some things that we've learned throughout business, some things that we've seen, lessons that we've captured. We hope you enjoyed this video. And we'd love to hear the lessons that you guys have learned too across the different industries that y'all operate in, the different countries. And we'd love to hear from you guys. What have you learned throughout your career and place in business?
Yes. And also, don't forget, we are 9 subscribers away from our goal of reaching 50 subscribers. So please subscribe, share with others to subscribe, because once we get to 50 subscribers, we are going to do something special for them. And if you help us get to 50 subscriber, we are also going to do something special for you. So don't forget to share with others. And stay tuned for some more great episodes. We hope you all have a great week. And that's a wrap on another great episode of the Globally Connected Podcast.
See you guys.